Welcome to Nora Christine Live. Tonight is our True Crime Wednesday. Thank you to everyone that's watching. Please hit the like button. We are going to break down a really disturbing story tonight regarding James Craig, a 47-year-old former dentist from Aurora, Colorado. And today he started the rest of his life. What do I mean by that? Well, the rest of his life in federal prison because he was found guilty for unaliving his wife. And we're going to break down what that story means. Also, we're going to talk about an update regarding Scott Peterson. Another person that unalived their wife. He's working with the Innocence Project. I'm going to give everyone an update on that. I don't think many people know about that. And lastly, we're going to end on you know, a reality TV topic with the Real Housewives. Pretty much essentially, Portia, she's going through a divorce with Simon Gabadia. He's in ICE custody right now. So we're definitely going to break that down. But nevertheless, let's kick it off with our first story of the night. A dentist that poisoned his wife. This is a disturbing story, guys. If you're watching, please hit the like button. Here we go. We're going to kick it off.
One big happy family in Aurora, Colorado, or so it seemed, until a 45-year-old local dentist decided that it was time to get rid of his wife so that he could start a new life with his mistress. The couple had been together for 22 years and had 6 kids, but that wasn't going to stop James Craig from doing what he had planned. He first started on March the 6th, 2023 with adding arsenic to her protein smoothies, then stepping it up to cyanide. Between March 6th and March 18th, Angela had been to the hospital 3 times. Doctors were baffled by her symptoms, and Angela's condition deteriorated. On Sunday, March 18th, Angela Craig died. And on the same day, her husband was arrested and charged with first-degree murder. Click on the pinned comment for a deep dive into this case and subscribe.
Sorry, this guy is a real creep. So in March 2023, over approximately 10 days, he secretly laced Angela's protein shakes with poison, including arsenic and pterodrolizine, an ingredient found in eye drops, as well as cyanide. Angela was hospitalized multiple times after suffering severe headaches, dizziness, vomiting, and seizures. And eventually on March 15 to 18, she was declared brain dead and life support was withdrawn. Okay, so he was really gaslighting her, guys. He was really saying a lot of creepy, like weird things. He was like, there were like text messages, and we'll get into that. But let me play this next clip. Guys, if you're watching, please hit the like button. Thank you so much for supporting. Hold on. Here it goes.
To look up things like how many grams of pure arsenic will kill a human.
Angela Craig texted her husband, "I had my protein shake. I feel drugged." Her husband texted back, "For the record, I didn't drug you."
James Craig, the father of 6 kids, has not entered a plea, but the evidence against him is piling up. Joining me now is criminal psychotherapist John Kelly. John, thanks a lot for your time. So court documents in this case show his internet search history, some of it including, incredibly, how many grams of pure arsenic will kill a human, and is arsenic detectable in autopsy? There's other things here, YouTube searches such as how to make poison, and then some text messages before she died with the wife saying, "I feel drugged," to which he responded, "For the record, I didn't drug you." So, John, my question to you is, in the digital era, as an investigator, profiler yourself, and someone who's been an investigator on my side, this guy was a dentist. He was a smart guy. Did he not realize this would leave a digital footprint all the way to his door?
Dan, this is a stupid criminal who wants to kill his wife and get divorced, okay? I mean, this guy really is just stupid. All right. And obviously you can see there's a difference between book knowledge and brains. Let's say brains, because this guy's just very, very stupid. He turns around, he leaves a digital trail right on the computer, okay, of the poisons that he's looking for. He wants to find out which one's most potent on there, okay? He wants to know exactly, if arsenic is detectable in the system. He's also looking at, other ways, to kill somebody. So he's very interested in murdering in any which way he can, as long as he can get away with it. But what really blows my mind, Dan, is how stupid this guy is when it comes to, first of all, he's going to be the first one that authorities look at, right? He's not even thinking about that. He's not thinking about his wife being murdered. He's not thinking about the 6 kids. How about the 6 kids? This guy is a pure narcissistic, maniac. I mean, he's just a narcissist that is beyond compare. We would call him a malignant narcissist. Okay, anything he wants, as long as it satisfies his self-gratification.
Yeah. John, thanks a lot for your input. Really appreciate it. Just want to say also, folks, everybody.
So yeah, guys, pretty much he was diabolical. He was looking up, doing online searches, how many grams of pure arsenic will kill a human. And is arsenic detectable at autopsy? He also ordered potassium cyanide to his dental office under a pseudonym. Prosecutors argue that his motives were financially driven. He wanted to get divorced. Now, obviously, it was cheaper to get rid of her, to keep her, and protect his image, as well as to continue an extramarital affair with a Texas-based orthodontist. They said that throughout his marriage, the majority of the time he was cheating on his poor wife. I mean, these are these sick weirdos that are out there. It's like, bro, like, why do you have to kill her? Just come up with some sort of agreement. But no, he decided he'd rather take that route. In contrast, he claimed Angela had expressed suicidal thoughts relating to his infidelity, but the jury rejected that, obviously. They said guilty. During sentencing, several of his children delivered emotional statements. One daughter said, "I was supposed to trust my dad. He'll forever be the villain in my story." His wife that he killed, older sister, offered moving testimony describing her as a vibrant, loving woman robbed of her family. Her life was not yours to take. Angela had a lot of love and passion for life. And on July 30th, Judge Shea Whitaker sentenced Greg to life in prison without the possibility of parole, which is mandatory under Colorado law for first-degree murder convictions. I mean, this is pretty sick. He was 47. His wife was 43 at the time. They were married for 23 years. I mean, poisoning shakes. I mean, like, guilty on all major counts. He was not guilty on manslaughter. So I guess they said, no, we're going to give you first-degree murder. So I'm curious what's going to happen with his sentencing. His sentence, we anticipated. Oh, well, actually, he got life in prison without parole. So I guess he didn't get the death penalty. So lucky him. But this guy was a real weirdo creep. And I think it's really sick and sad that he did this to his wife. The lady seemed like a nice lady. She gave him 6 children. I mean, the fact that he did this, what a weirdo, what a creep. I think it's disgusting. They said he was drugging her for years. According to her best friend, it wasn't the first time he drugged her without her knowledge. The best friend spoke up and said, hey, he's been doing this for years. So this is a real weirdo creep. I'm glad he was found guilty. Unless there's some secret evidence, I think justice was served. Guys, let me know what you guys think. Was justice served? And if you're watching, please hit the like button. Let's get the likes up, guys. So support the channel and let's hit the likes. Because nevertheless, we definitely gotta get these stories out there. This is True Crime Wednesday. I'm starting this new series, and we're just doing strictly true crime on Wednesdays. And Fridays, we do our reality recap, We're covering both housewives that are playing right now and Big Brother. So if you're watching for the first time, if you come back Friday night at 9 p.m., we will be talking about that next. But we're going to shift gears here to our next story, guys. Not much that can be said about a weirdo poisoning his wife. But we are going to talk about Scott Peterson. Scott Peterson's wife disappeared in 2002. And it was terrible. She was a pregnant woman. She was 8 months pregnant. The whole world was taken by storm when this happened. And I just finished a series called like Talking with Scott or something. And for the first time, he gave his story. Let me show you. This is him. This is when he was on trial. This was him and Lacey. Lacey was 8 months pregnant at the time. And he's another
Who killed
weirdo that was
Lacey?
cheating on his wife. Let's hear what he
Yeah,
has
there
to
was
say.
a burglary across the street from my home. There are a lot of people home. And I believe that Lacey went over there to see what was going on.
Who killed Lacey?
Yeah, there was a burglary
So
across the
pretty
street
much,
from my home.
guys,
There are a lot of
that was a conspiracy. They claim that, and we're going to get into the conspiracies today. But he pretty much swears that he had nothing to do with her disappearance. Okay. So let's set up the timeline of what happened when she disappeared, because many people don't know the story. It was Christmas Eve. He left around 10 a.m. to drive 2 hours to go fishing. He loaded up his boat. He left. He claims that was the last time he saw her. He said he comes back home. She's not there. And he calls the mom and he said, I don't know where she's at. He also called her. So to be clear, cell phones track everything you do. So the cell phone records did show he went to all the places he said. But the belief that the police had was that he took her body and dropped her off in the marina. And sure enough, they ended up finding her there. But nevertheless, the police said that they had concerns about him. They didn't like his demeanor. He wasn't freaked out. He was calm. They said, that they didn't trust it. But the other thing that ended up getting found out is that he was having an affair. Let's watch this clip where it talks about his affair.
Scott Peterson admits to having an affair ahead of the death of Lacey Peterson. The 51-year-old who was convicted of the murder of his wife Lacey and their unborn son in 2004 is reportedly speaking out about his extramarital affair in the upcoming Peacock docuseries Face to Face with Scott Peterson. People magazine reports that in the new doc, Scott reacts to allegations from prosecutors in his 2003 trial, who claimed he had an affair with a woman named Amber Fry 1 month before the murders and committed them to get out of his marriage without having to pay spousal support. Of those allegations, Scott reportedly responds in the new doc saying, "That is so offensive and so disgusting. I certainly regret cheating on Lacey, absolutely. It was about a childish lack of self-esteem. Selfish me traveling somewhere lonely that night because I wasn't at home. Someone makes you feel good because they want to have sex with you." Adding, "It's horrible. I was a total ass to be having sex outside our marriage." Scott, who is currently serving a life sentence without the possibility of parole, pleaded not guilty to the murders and contends to this day that he was not involved in the disappearance and death of his wife and unborn son. The new docuseries, streaming August 20th, marks the first time Scott has spoken on camera about the case since his arrest 21 years ago. It also promises to shed new light on the appeal process launched by the Los Angeles Innocence Project earlier this year, which aims to overturn Scott's conviction.
I believe my brother-in-law Scott has been wrongfully convicted of that murder.
Well, I want to pause right there. So pretty much, as you can hear, it detailed about his cheating and so he was having an affair with this woman, and the woman then saw Lacey on TV, and she's like, "Oh my God, that's the guy I'm like having an affair with." So she calls up the tip line, and the detectives come to her house, and they meet her, and they said, "Hey, we're going to give you this recorder, and we want you to record the conversations." And she recorded hundreds of hours of them talking. And over the week of them talking, he came up with all these lies. He actually called her from one of the vigils for his wife. And, he was like, oh, I'm in Paris. That's why you hear all this noise. And then he told her, like leading up to this, that it was the first Christmas he was going to have without his wife, making it seem like she died. So like all of this is why he was convicted. Okay. So the evidence was diabolical in that sense of the motive. The motive was pretty clear. However, there was no DNA that was found connected to him, unfortunately. So it wasn't a very strong case. Nevertheless, he was convicted. So let's talk about some conspiracy, guys. The first conspiracy is the burglary cover-up theory. So leading up to her, like the same week of all of this, their neighbors across the street went away. They left Christmas Eve morning, and they didn't return till the 26th. And so what they're alleging is that burglars might have had something to do with it. So they're saying that Lacey Peterson probably witnessed a burglary across the street while she was walking her dog and was killed by the burglars. I will say that the Peterson family hired an investigator. And when they hired this investigator, the investigator found that the timeline that the police had of her was not accurate. There was actual people that saw her taking a path and walking her dog. And supposedly the last time she was seen was 10/18. And that's not wrong, because people are willing to testify that they saw her walking her dog from 10:30 to 10:45. So that's not possible. So what they're saying is she was able to walk her dog completely, caught the burglars, and then somehow the dog escaped, and the neighbor found her dog, brought the dog back, and locked him up. And in that time, she was taken. This is the allegation and the theory. A home across from the Petersons was burglarized the same day Lacey disappeared. Several anonymous tips and later statements suggest Lacey confronted the burglars and was abducted to prevent her from reporting them. One witness claims he saw 3 men and a woman, allegedly unconscious or restrained in a van, near the burglary site around the same time. Supporters argue the Modesto Police Department prematurely dismissed this lead to focus solely on Scott. And also what's interesting, like less than a mile away, a van was found, and in the van it was set on fire, and in the van it had a mattress, and on the mattress was like a oil can that they tried to like have lit, like a can with oil to make it explode. But on the mattress, the examiner of the fire in the van, he scratched it and saw that there was blood, and when he tested it, it tested positive. But they cut out the piece on the mattress, and when they sent it away, they said it was inconclusive and there was no match. So from that, they're saying, no, this is not possible. It's not the same. So yeah, that's a big, big theory, guys. I saw the people with my own eyes. They were pretty adamant that they saw her walking the dog. So I don't know what to believe in that respect, guys. I don't know if this is plausible. It could be, but the cops didn't really follow up on it. The people that they ended up finding that robbed the house said, oh, I robbed the house on the 27th. They're like, that's not possible. The people were home on the 26th. Oh, it was the 26th. And that's all they put on the guy, was robbing the house. So I don't know. The second theory, guys, is that the marina dumped body theory. The timeline of when Lacey's body entered the San Francisco Bay was inconsistent with Scott's fishing trip and points to a different perpetrator. Remember, guys, Scott was being watched and followed by the police. So there was no way he would have been able to hold her somewhere and then go and unalive her and take her body. They were following his every move. So December 24th had to have been when she was unalived. Okay. Proponents argue that Connor's gestational age, and that's the baby, at the time of discovery, based on fetal biometrics, doesn't match the timeline the prosecution used. Harvard fetal growth expert submitted evidence in 2025 stating Connor likely died days after Scott left, contradicting the timeline used to convict him. Critics say Scott couldn't have dumped Lacey's body in the precise location it was found unless someone else moved or planted it there. So I don't know, guys. Maybe he had help. Maybe it wasn't even him. That's big. That, to me, that is a damning piece of evidence, guys. A damning piece. Like, because again, at that point, they were really, really watching him. Maybe he had help. I don't know. Theory number 3, the DNA and evidence suppression theory. Guys, for those of you guys just now joining, we are discussing theories surrounding Lacey Peterson's disappearance and Scott Peterson. Scott Peterson is currently working with the LA Innocence Project. And what's interesting to note is while he's working with them, new theories are being brought up. So we're just breaking them down tonight. Theory number 3, the DNA and evidence suppression theory. Physical evidence that could point to another suspect was never tested, destroyed, or withheld. Key evidence goes back to what I talked about. The mattress with blood stains allegedly found in the van used by the burglars was reportedly destroyed before testing. Other items tied to the burglary, including tools and clothing, were not processed. Peterson's defense claims the state used junk science, including outdated fetal development data, to construct a false timeline. In 2023, the Innocence Project filed a petition stating these actions violated Brady rules, which requires disclosure of exploratory evidence. So pretty much they're saying, hey, give us another trial, give us another trial. I will say they were able to get the death penalty off of him because the judge made a boo-boo. The judge was supposed to ask the jurors questions regarding how they felt about the death penalty. He did not do that. So due to that, he was able to get his death penalty overturned. Let me share the screen again, guys. Tap the screen, guys. Hit the like button. Let's get the likes up, guys. I appreciate you guys for watching this, and we are gonna play the rest of this clip regarding the Innocence Project working with him. Let's hit the play.
He's been in prison since April of 2003. Scott has not spoken on camera about the case in those 21 years.
Why should anyone care about what you have to say 20 years later?
This is really sad, guys. We're just exploring all the theories tonight. I don't know if I believe it, if I don't believe it, but there is definitely something here. Okay, there is something here. This is what Scott says he believes happened to her, because he still is adamant that he was innocent.
So if you didn't kill Lacey, who killed Lacey?
Scott Peterson shares his theory on what he thinks happened to his wife, Lacey Peterson, 20 years after her murder. The 51-year-old who was convicted of the murder of Lacey and their unborn child 20 years ago is speaking out about Lacey's disappearance and his trial in the new Peacock docuseries Face to Face with Scott Peterson. It's the first time Scott has spoken on camera since he was convicted.
I think that's the same clip. My bad, y'all. So pretty much we'll go to the next theory. Let me play this clip, guys. I want to show you guys to remind you about the case. I have another clip that I'm going to play. This is just explaining about her disappearance in detail, about what the media said on it. Let me play this.
Early evening, Christmas Eve, 2002, Modesto, California. Whilst most families across America were settling in for one of the most exciting and harmonious nights of the year, an unsettling sequence of events that would go on to captivate a nation for decades was just getting underway. A 7.5-month pregnant, 27-year-old woman by the name of Lacey Peterson mysteriously vanished from her home amidst the backdrop of Christmas lights and festive decorations. Her abrupt disappearance provoked an intense search and rescue operation, making headlines and filling news stations across the country, all whilst her family, friends, and the general public hoped desperately for a safe return. As a new year arrived, with Lacey still missing, the spotlight quickly turned to her husband, Scott, whose actions and behaviours were raising increasingly troubled questions. And, as the investigation unfolded, the suspicions of an entire nation that once bubbled under the surface would reach a boiling point.
I think everybody sitting at home wants the answer to the same question. Did you murder your wife?
No, I did not. And I had absolutely nothing to do with her disappearance. And use the word murder, and yeah, I mean, that is a possibility.
Wow. Nevertheless, guys, that is a whole lot to unpack with that. We're going to the next theory. Is Lacey was alive after Scott left. Multiple eyewitnesses saw a woman match Lacey's description. As I told you guys, walking her dog in the neighborhood after Scott left for the marina. At least 7 neighbors reportedly saw her walking her dog on the morning of December 24th after Scott left around 9:30. The police timeline discounted these sightings as mistaken or unreliable. I mean, guys, she was 8 months pregnant. I don't know how mistaken or unreliable it would be. And she was a beautiful lady. I think if they saw her, they would know. She was very, very pregnant, walking this dog that they said that she struggled with at the time. Next conspiracy, police tunnel vision, media bias theory. The Modesto police and media, they said, targeted Scott immediately, ignoring other leads and creating public prejudice. From the beginning, police admitted Scott was their primary suspect within days. The media labeled him guilty early on due to his affair with Amber Frey. Some legal analysts say the jury was likely biased by media saturation before the trial began. Next theory, satanic cult such ritual killing. This is a fringe theory, but some fringe forums have floated the idea that Lacey's death was the result of a ritualistic or cult-related death based on the condition her body was found in. Supporters cite the missing hands and feet, which they claim were signs of intentional mutilation, not decomposition. No real evidence supports this theory, and it's widely discredited by forensic experts. Okay, so this was a whole lot with these theories. But let's get to 2025 and fast forward. Scott is getting help from the Los Angeles Innocence Project. They have submitted a nearly 400-page habeas corpus petition to the California Court of Appeal that argued new evidence undermines the prosecution's case and should overturn the deaths of his wife and unborn son, Connor. The Innocence Project talks about the van, the mattress. They also filed new witness statements claiming that Lacey was seen alive even after she was supposedly killed by him. In May 2024, a judge allowed DNA testing on only one item, a piece of duct tape found on Lacey's clothing. Other requests to test, such as the mattress or van, remained denied. The Innocence Project brought in a Harvard Medical School fetal biometrics expert who contended that the age of Connor was later than on December 24th. June 2025, a habeas petition was denied though, guys. On June 2nd of this year, the California Appeals Court denied the 140-page petition brought by his legal team, which claimed exploratory evidence had been suppressed and would have changed a reasonable jury's verdict. But nevertheless, we stand on. The appellate court has denied the petition, meaning no decision to vacate the conviction yet. However, they say they may pursue further legal avenues, including appeals to higher courts or additional motions seeking retrial or expanded DNA testing. They will maintain that a retrial is warranted based on the new evidence. Meanwhile, public attention remains heightened, supported by a late 2024 series, Face to Face, which is the one I showed. He continues to cite his innocence, guys. So guys, I would love to know what you think. If you are in agreement that he's innocent, let me hear what you think. Please hit the like button, and thank you so much for watching. So now we're going to switch gears here to our final story of the night, and we're going to break it down regarding Portia Williams. She is a housewife. She stole someone's husband, allegedly. But nevertheless, she's going through a pretty nasty divorce. I want to play this clip about what her husband said in an interview. Pretty much, he was ordered to pay her $40,000 a month for the next 15 months. And it's my understanding he's in ICE custody. So I'm curious how that's being paid. But nevertheless, here we go. Let me play this clip.
Do you regret marrying her?
Absolutely. I said to her in one of my text messages to her, because she didn't respond because I kept asking her, why did you file for divorce? And she wouldn't say anything. I tried to reach her mom. Her mom would not respond either. I later figured out this felt like a coup. When I don't know if you're familiar with. I'm familiar. I say it because I'm from Nigeria, and that we were ruled at one point by the military, and so every so often when you want to change leadership, the president, you stage a coup.
Yeah.
That's how I felt. I was totally blindsided. I was no member of her family, whether on the mother's side or on the father's side, reached out to me. And the only person I actually reached out to was her mom, and she didn't respond. And so I essentially sent her a text message. I said this was a $5 million rehab project that I took on. she never shared her concerns or issues with me before filing for divorce. If you're married, I've been married quite a bit. I think I understand a little bit about the dynamics of, I should understand a little bit about the dynamics of a relationship. You discuss issues and say, hey, if this does not change or something does not happen, this is what might come of it.
Mm-hmm.
We never had those discussions, and I'm happy to share with you text messages where I was essentially blindsided by the divorce filing.
I was actually going to ask you if this was something that you saw coming, if conversations had been had.
So let's pause real quick, guys. He says he's blindsided, which is understandable, but Portia said she filed for divorce for him when she began to doubt Simon after uncovering his complex immigration and legal issues, including visa overstays, fraud allegations, and past deportation that he had allegedly never disclosed to her, the divorce filing said. The media frenzy included revelations about her husband's criminal history, questionable immigration, and allegations of fraud. None of this information was ever disclosed by husband and wife. And she said she just didn't want to be married to a stranger. He reportedly refused to discuss finances, and Portia feared foreclosure on their home. In a legal filing, she stated she filed to protect her assets. He wouldn't tell me what our finances were. I wanted to make sure I have the money I felt the need to file when I did to protect assets. In interviews, Portia shared that a major turning point came on Valentine's Day 2024 when she asked to consult attorneys regarding paperwork, and Simon's reaction was dark, a look that made her feel unsafe and confirmed her gut that Sophie had emotionally checked out. It really wasn't what he said. It was a look. I just knew I was not looking at the same person I loved before. She described the divorce as a nightmare, but necessary. I filed out of necessary to protect myself. I couldn't trust him, and I wasn't safe with him. So let me play the rest of the clip because he says he feels like that he's blindsided. So here we go.
Prior, what do you think what do you think Portia's reason was to file for divorce?
I think I was targeted.
In what way?
I was targeted from day one for financial reasons. When I filed for divorce from my previous, ex-wife, she was in my DM praying for me, and I think I was in a vulnerable position at that time, and I entertained it, and so it just kind of snowballed from there. Getting engaged in 30 days. I mean, who does that? I was out of my goddamn mind to have done that, and of course, I'm paying dearly for it.
I mean, you also left your ex-wife for her, but nevertheless, I mean, anyways, he said that he was blindsided. He said he doesn't trust her. The divorce was officially finalized in June 2025. Simon was deported to Nigeria after being detained by ICE over immigration violations, including bank and credit card fraud and using a false identity. And also, Portia secured favorable terms, including alimony for $40,000 a month and continue residency in their Atlanta home temporarily. Simon plans to appeal the settlement, he said. In her first major divorce interview, Portia called the process a nightmare, but she said she now feels relieved and supported by her family and daughter. Okay, so Simon's back in Nigeria, deported. He can never come back. Women are just diabolical. That's all I have to say. Like, I think she knew he was going to leave and she didn't want to go with him. That's what I think. I think she knew everything about it. I think this is really, really weird. He gave her this lavish wedding. I'm about to show you guys clips from the wedding. I don't know. Like, my heart doesn't break for her. She gets $40,000 a month when he got deported. How is that fair? This is their wedding. It's really lavish. I think they did like a ceremony in Africa and a ceremony here, but this is a pretty extreme wedding. He showered her with lots of gifts. So when the good times were rolling, Portia was right by his side, rolling with him. Here they have some African dancers. Very strange, very, very, very strange situation. You know, and now she's back working in the housewives. this is just very odd. This is another clip of their wedding. I want to show you guys. I'm going to mute it. This is her traditional wedding, because I guess in Africa, like, they do different ones. She probably did one in America and one here. Wow. This is her entering in. Yeah. So the other drama behind all this, I don't know if everyone knows this, but she initially met him through his ex-wife Fallon, who's in the upper right-hand corner. And when she met him, Fallon was a friend of the housewives, while Portia was a housewife. And Fallon was married, and she met him with Fallon. She says, our relationship began a month ago. Yes, we are crazy in love. I know it's fast, but we are living each life each day to its fullest. I choose happiness every morning and every night, turning out all negative energy and only focus on positive wishes. He makes me so happy, and to me, this is what matters most. For all of you that need facts, I get the optics, but Simon filed for divorce from a previous marriage in January. I had nothing to do with the divorce filings. That's between the two of them. Okay. So basically, she's saying, hey, I didn't take her from him. That has nothing to do with it. But that's not what the blogs were saying. The blogs dragged her. He supposedly was with her. Also, let me tell you guys more about the divorce and what she gets. Portia's divorce is finalized, and here's the breakdown. She gets to stay in their home for 36 months with Simon covering the mortgage, bills, and costs. The house deed must be transferred into a mutual trust with both their names on it. So technically, they're still partners in property, but only until things get sorted. Refinancing clause. If Portia can't refinance the home under her own name in those 3 years, it gets sold. But don't worry, Portia gets a generous slice of those proceeds because equity matters. She gets a lump sum payment. It's part of the settlement. Portia gets a one-time payment. The exact number hasn't been dropped, but we can imagine it's at least six figures. She gets spousal support. Turns out Simon had been paying Portia a generous monthly amount of $40,000 during their marriage and $30,000 even when they were just dating. And she'll receive the Rolls Royce he bought. And yes, Simon also has to cover her attorney fees. Oh my God, this is diabolical. Now I see why men say they don't want to get married. Now I see why men say this. Like, this is crazy. Guys, moral of the story, get a prenup. I'm not saying, I definitely think you should get married. That is the right way. You should be married, but get a prenup. And here she is talking about life after her marriage.
I can't connect with other
Lonely
men.
rich.
You know, it's like people trying to introduce me, but it's just when it's not the same, it's not the same. So I'm going to do it different this time. I'm going to be alone until I'm whole. And then when I'm whole, then I will, open myself back up so I don't make the same mistake again. When you go through a bad enough breakup, you're like, I don't like nobody. Like, you're like, I don't like nobody. I was sitting there, I was like, do I like women enough? Can I get with a woman? Like, who can come in and fill this void? Like, oh my God, somebody. I have got to be able to sit with someone and feel a part of what I felt with him. But I don't yet. It'll come. It'll come. But I'm like, and I think that now that I'm realizing that because what I've decided is that I'm not going to look for it anymore. So I'm not going to like push myself into dating or anyone or trying to figure out, who do I like? Who could I be around? Because this is probably also part of healing. I mean, just sitting with this, sitting with being alone, sitting with the loss and let myself heal the loss. And I know I'm crying right now, but I feel good every day, each day. I get better each day. I feel stronger. But I ain't gonna lie, it's hard. It's hard living lonely when you have to live lonely for a while.
Man, wow. I don't even know what else to say to that. She can't be that damn lonely. 40,000 reasons why she's not. Yeah, I mean, he got deported. He's back in Nigeria from what they're saying. It's pretty sad. I don't know. I'm not going to comment. It sounds like he lied. But nevertheless, this is crazy. I'm going to play this last clip from him breaking down their divorce and how he feels like he got played. Guys, if you're watching, please hit the like button. This is the last clip of the night, and then we'll close out.
When you decided to go on this journey with your now
there were red flags. I think the first red flag was the fact that I was approached about an allowance because she wasn't going to be working.
Mhm.
Literally 1 month into that relationship, that was the first red flag. And I paid her $30,000 a month, you know.
You know, to the common person, it's like, Simon, that's a lot of money. Like, we sitting here looking at you like you were leading with your money.
I'm the first child of my father. I saw my father take care of my mother and take care of my stepmother. When you come from the community that I come from, you're a provider.
Mm-hmm.
My father was a man of men. And so are a lot of men that I grew up around. They handle their family. They take care of their family. Their wives is an option. If you want to work, you go work. That's self-fulfillment. But in terms of paying bills around here, I got this.
No, I get that. But when you start talking about an allowance of XYZ, and I get everybody has a lifestyle.
You know, the problem is that, you know, people want to judge something they don't know.
When you
Lord, I don't even know what to say to that. Where's the Simons at? I need to find me a Simon. That's all I gotta say. I need to find me a Simon that can drop those coins. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. We do this every Wednesday night. It's True Crime Wednesdays. So if you guys can hit the like button, subscribe to your girl. I will be back on Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will be talking about our reality roundup. We'll be doing recaps of the Real Housewives of Miami, Real Housewives of Orange County, and also Big Brother. That's what we're covering this Friday night at 9 p.m. And you guys can head on over if you're watching on X to Nora Christine Live on YouTube and be involved in the conversation. I see you guys watching, but I don't see anyone commenting. So join the conversation on X or on YouTube. You could be a part of it, and we could have our own little community here where we sip tea and serve that truth. So guys, have a good night. God bless, and have a good.
Welcome to Nora Christine Live. Live shows while we are sipping tea and serving truth. We dish out the hottest gossip and reality tea. We talk about everything from celebrity gossip and reality TV to current events and everything in between. We keep it real. If you like your tea with a side of sass and a little bit of shade, then this is a show for you. I'm your host, and please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You may know me as a co-founder, executive producer, and host of the New Party podcast. Every Friday, we drop a new episode at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So grab your cup of tea, sit back and relax because you're in for a treat.